are apparently live.
Oh,
yeah, and that's probably delayed when I even said that. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. But anyway, hi everyone. It's a little early, but I've been asked to start the stream.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how that works. But anyway.
There we go. See, this is why it is. This is why we do the pre-show.
There we go.
Yep.
So it is a little early, but you guys can see the guys join because it may be interesting for you. I don't know why it would be interesting, but there you go. So yeah, hello.
They might want to see if we talk about them.
Yeah, that's probably what
Which
they
we
want to
do.
see. Yeah, they want to
don't really.
They want to see if we like say nasty things behind their backs, which we don't.
Like, oh. How's the weather over there, Ian? Is it cooler? Because over here we're getting lovely sunshine.
It's lovely here. It's really nice and warm. That sounds great.
Is it?
That's a System of 500, my friend. Through some effects, of course. Right
yes.
There. Actually, if I do this, and then I do this, you can see it better. That's the System 500.
Okay, let me
right.
move my little picture out of the way. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been playing with like an ambient track that I've got sort of not quite finished for my album. I just kind of want to do kind of the things that I like, the sounds that I like, you know. I just feel like it needs to be what I like, as opposed to me thinking what other people want to hear. So
I have to say, I never think. Go, Darren.
I was just probably going to say the same as you, Ian. I was going to say, so do you normally not think of the stuff that you like when you're making stuff then?
Some tracks I make in a hope that it might attract some sort of audience. Like it's not necessarily a genre or anything like that, but I definitely put things in it that I like, but it's kind of like I'm hoping that they'll pick up the message of the track or the sounds that I've used in a way that I'm trying to please them, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's not like I'm being try hard or anything. It's more that it's probably got a theme behind it. Whereas this particular ambient track, I'm literally going to be self-indulgent. It's just I don't care if no one listens to it. It'll just be like, this is the sort of crap that I muck around with in the studio.
Yeah.
Knowing my luck, it'll probably be the most popular track on the album.
Well, for a start, it won't be crap, will it? I mean, I have to say, I take the approach that I want people to like my stuff, but actually, because I make it for me, and I know it's sort of left field and usually avant-garde and experimental and all that sort of stuff, but that's what I'm into. I mean, I like lots of stuff, but that's the music I like to make for me, you know. And it's nice when people do like it and you get positive regard, but I don't make it for anybody else.
Yeah.
You know? And there's never a compromise on. I never think about, well, I hope the audience like this.
You
know, if I was writing pop songs, well, yes, that's a different thing altogether.
I mean, I'd be a liar if I said I hope the audience like it. I think I definitely do hope the audience like anything that I make, because, you know, you're putting it out there for that reason, right?
Yeah. But you won't put it out.
Yeah. But at the same time, I you know, I don't know. I kind of feel like
you have to find that nice balance where you're sort of doing what you want to do, but not getting pulled in the way that is sort of just for likes, if that makes sense. Yeah, not making
beats or, you know, that sort of stuff, right? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah. So yeah,
I mean most of like my tracks, because mine, when I have an idea for album or tracks, I mean, they usually come out of either, sometimes it's how you're feeling at the time when you're just messing about with your music, and you write a track, it sounds and you have that sort of either emotion or feeling of that track and it sort of can either expand into an album, which mine does.
If I do this,
and then I carry on with the old album,
and then I do this, you can see it better. That's
track.
the System 500, right?
A little picture of the way.
Right,
yeah.
Are we who's repeating us?
Yeah, I think Eddie's just jumped into StreamYard. Eddie, I might actually get you to come, because Brooksy's just told me he's not coming on the show today because he's not feeling well. So, and by the way, Brooksy, get better soon, mate. Yeah, so he's just going to be in the chat and watch. So Eddie, I might get you to come onto the other system. I'll message you direct with a link. Okay, so I'll just pop you out of here.
So my tracks can be sort of quite emotional, but you'll never like if I put a track out. Say I won't be one tomorrow, but if I put a track out on YouTube. That track was a few weeks old, so that was at that moment in time when I was sort of having, feeling that thing. So it's not always corresponding to the day it goes out, but I don't write it. I just write what I like to write.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same, but I definitely want to try some ideas out and see how people react, and that's kind of where I'm coming from. Like, it might be a theme, it might be say, this track is going to be sort of a little bit retro, or this track is trying to be more modern, or this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that I want to see if they pick up on, and that's what I mean by whether they'll like that aspect of it. Not whether they like my music. It's just whether they've caught onto it. I think that's kind of what I meant.
I always like a theme for a song or an album. So usually if it's an album, and like I say, my next album, the theme was this photograph that I've got in our dining room, so I've always got some, and I'm already starting, because that album's pretty much finished. I just need to finish the last couple of mixes, and then I'm going to leave it for a few weeks, and then I'll master it. So I'm already thinking what the next project's going to be, at this moment in time, I might not go with that project. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because I always wanted to do a project about the troubles in Belfast, because I went and played a festival there. Probably was it 2012, 2013, and Belfast is a lovely city, but it's still a troubled. It's a troubled country, and that was an inspiration then, and that's still on the back burner.
Oh yeah, hey. I've got like 3 or 4 albums on the back burner.
Yeah.
You can't hear anything?
We can see you.
We can see you. Thumbs up if you can hear us. Okay, but we can't hear you.
Hear us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's nothing my end.
The past few weeks, I've been really trying to work this live set that I'm doing out. It's taking a bit because I've never done a live set, so transferring. I didn't want to transfer just a track to a live set. Well, one that's pretty tricky anyway. But on the other hand, because my music and the way I do things, it's got to be like I've got to have a track. I can't just go on the fly, turn up and just play. I don't know. It doesn't. It's sort of like I've got to have a.
Yeah, I do a bit of both because I'm playing. That's back to Eddie. I can hear Eddie.
Yeah, that's Eddie doing that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's all kind of.
So I've been asked to play wonky stuff on next Wednesday.
So
all a bit short notice, but yeah, it's a great night. Is the wonky stuff? It's every 2 or 3 months, and I could just go and play the set that I played in Whitby a fortnight ago, but I thought no, that's not me really. So I'm still doing a couple of tracks that I did that night, but again I've re-recorded them, and then there's going to be 2 tracks where it's going to be completely on the fly. So I've got some stuff where I need to have a little bit of backing, and and it's usually samples and that sort of stuff that I've got going on in the background. Yeah.
By the way, Darren, Brooksy suggested, just quickly get this in before we start the show because we've got like 3 minutes. Brooksy suggested the topic that we should talk about today when we get some time is setting up live sets, setting up for live performances. And so, if he's not here, maybe we should postpone that to when he is better, and then he can be part of that conversation because he did add that topic. So
Yeah, and he's done the live sets. I mean, Ian's done them as well. So
yeah, because we'll get some nice input from him. So, I just wanted to shout out to Brooksy just to say that we got that topic in, and yeah, cool. Henrik's joining StreamYard. Beautiful.
Well, we're getting that. You'll say that, and then Ian and Andy will give me some advice on something. I'll go, I'm going to scrap this. It's completely not going to work.
Andy's here. All right, we got Henrik and StreamYard. StreamYard link, by the way, everyone, is coming up in chat. This is the StreamYard link. So if you guys want to jump into StreamYard, there's the link, and I can show you who's in there currently. At the moment is just Henrik.
Hi, Henrik.
And he's got the mouse on. Let's put it right next to his nostril there. Let's look right there.
Yeah.
There we go. So it's scratching your nose all day long. How's that sound? Just move your head slightly up and down, and then you can have a nice little mouse scratch. Hang on, we think we've got someone else knocking on the StreamYard door. Who is that? Hey, Merbit's there. Awesome. Cool. So we'll put Merbit in. He's got no camera on at the moment. That's okay. Oh, he's just popped out. Try again, Mr. Merbit. Everyone needs a base to work from. They do. Indeed. Everyone needs bass like this.
Audio.
Oh, jeez, he's low. Camera off is fine. Do it again. Jump in.
Does my audio work?
He's not got a mic though, Ranz, either. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's going to join next week. All right. Anyone else want to join in StreamYard? That is fine with me. Eddie, how you going?
1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yay! We can hear
yes.
Loud and clear, or too loud and clear?
Quiet.
Oh, quiet.
But clear.
That has a thing.
But clear, definitely.
Clear is good.
Let me just double check to make sure I haven't done anything silly my end with you. You're guest number 4 in there. Guest number 4. Where's guest number 4 gone? By the way, no one knows where guest number 4 is except me.
It's there.
It's right there.
No, it's that one.
No, it's
guest number 4.
Keep up with Brooks' side, so sadly I'm
not
that good looking.
You're good. You're good to go. I've just disabled denoise. Okay. I had denoise on Brooksy. I don't know why. Maybe it was an old setting. I took it off. Okay. Henrik, do you want to just do a quick check before we hit the show? I think there's like a minute to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the mic. I'm just setting up another mic.
Okay, we'll come back.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear you, yeah.
We can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, you're going good. Anyone else want to join StreamYard? The link is there again. There's the link.
Is it okay?
That is okay, yeah. Yep. I think that's okay. Cool. It's just bit.ly/Ranzee StreamYard, one word, if you want to join StreamYard with a webcam mic. I don't know. Most laptops have webcam built into the screens and mics, and that will probably be okay. Or even, the Apple, what do you call them? AirPods these days are pretty good for that sort of stuff. But if you want to look really, really cool like Darren, because Darren's the coolest kid in the shop here, you can get your own hat printed and...
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm still saving up to get my own hat printed.
All right, let's do this. Ready, set, go. Wow. Episodes. What are we up to? 205, I believe. It is the 3rd of June. Can you believe we've hit 6 months through the year already? I can't believe that. Just how fast does time fly when you're an old fart like me? Anyway, welcome to Synth Geekery. Nice to have you here. It's a beautiful wintry Saturday evening here in Australia. Streaming to you live from Perth in Western Australia. One of the remotest cities in the world, by the way. Not the, but one of the. yeah, it's currently about 9 p.m., just after 9 p.m. here. So if you're wondering, that's your kind of thing. Whereabouts are you? And let us know in the chat if you're new, and say big hi, and we can say a big hi back, and we can welcome you in a couple of secs when we talk to the chatties. Today, we're going to be talking, as usual, about synthesizers, drum machine sequencers, hardware, that sort of samplers, that sort of stuff. That's kind of our big forte. Sometimes we delve into software, which we will today a little bit. And we do talk about DAWs and things like that. So we also have our regular segments, funny side, news from the geekery, and we're going to have a nice price watch today brought to you by Andy, Synth Addict. He's been busy. 4 years we've been doing this little sucker for. I'm probably the big sucker. But yeah, if you want to support us, hit the subscribe button. Nothing like giving us a bit of a thumbs up too. Geez, I've dropped about 500 subscribers. Thanks for YouTube's little broom closet clean out. I don't know what the hell's going on there. So it'd be nice if you guys could just hit the subscribe button just to sort of get that. Am I right? Not that I care about numbers, but it's just weird that I'm like, I feel like nobody loves me. I'm feeling unloved.
Yeah, it's not just you, Ranzee. It's not just you.
It's not just me. Good. We do have a regular socials that we do like to talk about. So please go to Discord during the week. There's Discord right there. It's free. We do chat about stuff. You'll see memes. You'll see synth chats. You'll see news, conversations during the week. If you like that sort of continual thing happening during the week. StreamYard, I can hear. I'll get you in a sec. Just let me get through the introductions. And also, as I like to always do, I want to say a big thank you to all the people that support the channel. And these are the channel members and patrons so far. Here we go. I'm going to get it up to start because I think they all deserve it. A big pat on the back. You guys will know most of these people. Funny about that, isn't it? There we go. All right, so there we go. And welcome to our video, guys. I'm going to go straight to Darren first, and you can say a big hello and how's your week been while I get the StreamYard people going.
Big hello. Hello. Yeah, week's been fine. Been very warm over here. Week's just normal, I think. Not done much. Well, I've been spending all week on my live set, so other than that, yeah, not done much, but nice weather, which is a change.
Yeah,
so,
that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still a bit cold in the mornings and through the night, but not a drop of rain in sight, so we'll be on a water shortage, so yeah. Other than that, I haven't really done anything.
Okay, that's okay. Awesome to have you. We're going to click over to the next person, which I think would probably be Andy. Yay, that worked. How are you, mate?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I showed up on time today. It's a miracle.
You get like it's good for your summer and our winter, right? Because you get an extra hour sleep in.
It never matters. I mean, I'm either always up too late or in this case too early. So I sleep where I can. So occasionally I'll take a power nap at lunch during work, just to get some more time in. But yeah, it's. I wish you're supposed to need less sleep as you get older, but I never found that. So
I never found it either. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not true.
It's not true.
But I mean, it's true for some people, but definitely not for me. I could sleep 10 hours if I could get away with it. So
it's true for the lizard people, I think.
Yeah. It's part of the whole David Icke conspiracy, right? The human lizard hybrids running the government. So
that's it. Oh, let's get everyone wagging their cheeks about that. It's good to have you, mate. Any news from your side of the world?
Not too much. There were a couple imams I missed out on just because I didn't have my crap together, and there's the usual hardware jam thing every week. There's an entry due this weekend for the new Hardware Jam Fest coming up. It's a little bit longer sets. They're like 10-minute sets, so I gotta get off my butt and get that thing done. And some crap coming in. I have Electron stuff that I really like, but I don't have the time to put into it that I would like. So I wanted to get a mobile version of them so I could kind of have beaters to take around and still get the Electron feel. So I got used model samples and model cycles to screw around with as a little duo. So I already got the samples. The cycles is coming, I think, on Monday. I also have a second OPZ, so I can hook them together, sync them together as a nice little duo set for hardware jams. So you can just, it's really, there's a little JSON file inside the OPZ. You can go set all kinds of crazy MIDI settings and stuff. And all you need is a simple USB-C cable to sync them. You don't even need an op lab between them, which normally we do for other gear. And so I'm looking forward to that, because then I can have, eight tracks of audio on one, 8 tracks of audio on another, plus all the MIDI tracks and the effects tracks and all that crazy stuff they have on there, all synced together. So much more elaborate stuff on the go, and still fits in your pocket.
Awesome. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Like to see more of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely. Heading
over to the next person, which should be Ian. Hey, Ian.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hi, everybody. Sunny Yorkshire at the moment, although I am fighting man flu, and I've been all week. So if I sound a bit funny, you know why. What I've been doing this week, launched the audio file radio show on Wednesday. Thanks so much for those people that have watched. And actually, somebody bought it. Thank you very much, David Surchet. I mean, you're not meant to buy it. It's meant to be free. It's free. But thank you very much for the donation.
What a champion.
He's a star. I'm playing, as I said earlier, the Wonky Stuff night on Wednesday, so I'm preparing. My set is here.
Yay.
So, and I'm going to be including the Micro Freak and hopefully, the S1. But I've found a slight problem with the S1. It doesn't talk very well. It doesn't sync very well to other things at the moment. I think there's a slight firmware issue.
Really?
They've already done one firmware. For anybody who's got it already, they've already done one firmware this week, and I've installed it and I haven't checked it since that. And maybe that solves the problem, but at the moment I can't sync it properly to anything. It's almost like running in double time. What else has been happening? Oh, I got accredited for Edinburgh Fringe Festival, so I will be going to Edinburgh Fringe in August, and I will be reviewing lots of shows. So, nice. But yeah, that's my week. Yeah, awesome. That's good. Yeah.
Do you think the syncing issue is that typical Roland driver issue, or do you think it's something else?
I mean, it really surprised me because I've tried it with lots of things, and it's the same on everything. And actually, when I looked at Lou Pop's video, he did say that he had also hit some sort of issues.
He did, yeah.
Now, to be fair, I don't know. The only other Roland thing I've really got is the TR8S S8. And that has no issues with anything, when you sort of sync it to other stuff.
They did build a small ecosystem, so all those Rokas are syncing together, no problem. So,
right,
yeah, right. It should play nice with others, though, right?
It should play, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sync it to anything because at the moment I can't really, not sensibly. But hopefully I'm going to include it.
Maybe someone in chat might also have one and has solved it, and you never know. We might get
some, exactly. If you have, let us know. Be great.
Who else have I got here? I've got Eddie here, who's taken at late notice. He's taken Brooksy's spot. Nice to have you, mate.
All right, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
We've got a very quiet mic from you. I'm not sure why. Which mic are you, if you want to tap on it, you can see which one you're using. Yeah, it's that one. Maybe bring it closer to your mouth or something like that.
1 2 1 2.
You can still hear you, but it's just, I just think everyone agrees it's pretty quiet, right?
Yeah, it is.
So is it just below you, is it? Because I can't see it. Usually you have to have them pretty close to your face, microphones. Now we've lost you completely.
Yes.
Now we've got you back.
What about sound? 1 2.
That's better.
Me?
Yeah, go for it. How's your week been, mate?
Apart from work, which is always nice to have a three-day week. Because I usually do 4, but Monday was off, so even better. And apart from that, Just trying to get ready for what the thing we will comment later, please.
Ah, yes, okay. Well, we can give you some
troubleshooting like a maniac, like as always. It never ends. Never-ending story.
You got to pay the bills, don't you? That's the thing. Hey?
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. We've got a few guys in StreamYard so far. We've got Henrik. We'll start with you, Henrik. Yeah. Nice to have you, mate. How you going?
I'm fine. I hope you can hear me now.
Once again, a little quiet.
Little quiet. I can turn it up.
Yeah.
Is that better?
That's much better.
Probably too loud. Okay. Yeah, it's been a good week, 4-day week. I bought some new stuff, and this is the best thing I've bought for ages.
The LXR, is that the Erica synth version one though? The Mark II? Yeah. It's a great little unit. Yeah.
Indeed. You get so inspired when you sit with it. It's whoa, everything is grooving. You can't do anything which is not grooving. It's the best drum machine I've ever had.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There are some bugs. Sometimes things disappear and you don't know why, and you have to either start all over or erase that part or just live with it, and then it gets back at some time, and you don't know why. I hope they fix them, but it's a fantastic machine. So, and I got this one too. I haven't tried it yet because I want to learn the LXR first, and then I would try the looper here. And the plan is the LXR and the looper and some of the keyboards for doing some live jams or things like that.
Yeah, nice.
So that's a small setup for that, not for composing, only for jamming.
Yeah, awesome.
And that stuff. Perhaps not for anyone else than me, but
why not?
I just want something so it's possible to do that.
Yeah.
Instead of only programming it in the DAW.
Yeah, I like that. It's more sort of raw, isn't it? It's in your face. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Awesome.
And then I've been busy preparing a stream for next week. When you have a day off.
I do.
And I have invited Dan Phillips from Korg, the man behind Wave Station and Wave State, and some people who are also involved in it are guests too. So that's what the stream will be about next week.
Yeah, so I've just pasted the link to that in the chat. So guys, you've got that link in your chat now. You can click on that and subscribe to JX3D's YouTube channel, and then that way you've got the show covered for next Saturday. Now, I do believe it's going to be a couple of hours skew, a bit later.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because Dan is getting up it will start at 8 o'clock for him a.m. And that's pretty early in California. So for us in Europe,
so it's about 2 hours later. Yep.
4 o'clock.
Lightweight. He can't get up at 5 a.m. Come on.
Yeah. He's a lightweight, Andy.
That's awesome.
He wasn't happy about earlier, so we delayed it till that time. But check the YouTube link because it tells you your time when it starts.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have Merbit in the chat, but I'm not sure if his microphone's working. So we're saying a big hello for him to put himself in there anyway. His camera's not working, his microphone's not working. If he gets that working, you never know. Let us know if you do get it working, and we can bring you in for now. But it's nice for you to be part of that. That's awesome. Awesome having everyone. Topics this week, we probably don't really have any, but we've got some stuff to talk about in news, I think, that I think will probably spill over. It'll be one of those spillover sort of news topics this week. But let's start first by saying hello to the chatties, which I like to do because they're a really important part. Don't forget, if you are in chat and you do want to be part of the show, there is the StreamYard link, which we just showed Henrik and Merbert in. I have posted it a few times. I'll just post it one more time, just for everyone. If you do want to join in, just it'll go pop. You'll hear it on the stream. It'll go pop. But there you go. There's the StreamYard link. Anyway, big hello to, let's grab a few people at random. Big hello to Chris, Makeshifter. He couldn't be on the show today because he's got some family stuff on, but he's in the chat-ish. Also, big hello to Brooksy, who's not well. He's in the chat-ish as well. Other than that, we've got... I said hello to all the channel members before at the start of the stream, but just to recognise them again, you'll see them in the chat, like David and JX3D and Makeshifter, Keith and Watford. You'll see them with their special little badges, like their stars next to their name. So if you kind of want to be a star like that, it helps the channel and it keeps the show on the air, that's for sure. Culture of Ghosts, ASIO Head, Merbert, as I mentioned before. Nice to have all of you guys. And Lady Aptitude, nice to have you. Human Error, and who else we got? Matt Brown, Neil Wharton, nice to have you guys. Steve Elbows as well, and Wagoo, of course. Wagoo is probably one of the oldest members, not old as in he's old, but oldest in members in being on this show. So it's good to have his support. So you could ask him anything; he'd probably remember any episode. And he'll even tell you off if you get things like, especially when he did his Name That Synth episode. And I forgot about the synths that he used in it. Geez, he punished me for that. Anyway, we got Mega Mark there. Nice to have you, mate. Also, who else? Lots of people. Failed Muso, which is Robbie Puricelli. And big plug for the Pro Synth Network, of course. Another great show that you guys can check out on Fridays. And if I've forgotten anyone, I do apologise, but it has done what it always does and scrolls on me. So just say hello to yourself. That saves me having to do it. Anyway, let's do this. Not that. This. Almost gave that a bit away, didn't I? Yes, this one came in from Robbie Puricelli, actually. Burnt Resistor. Soy blended can. When you need the magic smoke in your studio, hey? Just nothing like having a bit of the magic smoke, and especially when you've got that vintage gear, like the DX1. Hey, Robbie, when you got the DX1 lying around, and you just wonder if you just need to spend another $1,000 getting it fixed. Yep, there you go. Just buy a candle. This one came in from Ben from Pro Synth Network. So good on you, Ben. When your DAW is loading and you see the reflection in the screen. That's a good one.
I noticed there's a Reaper thing, the Reaper logo there.
Yeah, that's
Reaper
the
is one of the fastest loading.
Yeah, but it's
one of the fastest load. Yeah, compared to some of the others.
Yeah,
the fastest loading.
Yeah. What movie was that? That's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, isn't it? That one.
It's Men in Black.
It's like.
It's Men in Black.
It's the cockroach that's inside the human body.
That's right. It's the cockroach. That's right. Yeah, that's the one. Then we've got the cycle of hardware music. It's gone from vinyl to cassette to CD to USB to Spotify, and back to vinyl again.
And cassette too. There's a lot of cassettes these days.
Yeah.
We only get
definitely cassettes are making a comeback. Yep. And the last one is apparently this was brought to us by Sirloin.
Hey.
We're doing the jokes here, aren't we?
Ching.
Yes. Anyway, I tell you what, that last one was a pretty bad cut. Let's go to what we thought was the worst or the best. No, let's go to the best meme for the week.
Hardware for me. The hardware
cycle.
Vinyl. Yeah, vinyl cassettes.
Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Sorry, the candle.
Yeah.
It touches home so deeply.
I reckon the biggest laugh I got was probably looking at the reflection of yourself in your computer screen while your DAW was loading. Because I think at some stage I mean, back in the old days, we had those CRT monitors, so you really could see your reflection of yourself.
Well, that's more the face you make when you listen to an old mix of yours, right? It's like, oh, wait a minute, I made that.
Yeah.
Isn't it taken from an old Evil Dead movie? I think it is.
No, it's Men in Black.
No, Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Oh, yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's get the StreamYard people down the bottom. I think we can try and squeeze them in there. I always have to do this manually every week, but the reason for it is because I need the chatties to be in there. So that's the chatties there, right? Yeah. So we do this.
Also, Ranzee, before I forget, I sent the links to you on that email. I did a follow-up email with the links. So if you wanted the links.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I noticed that. So we are all good to go there. That link, the links is mainly so that if we want to show them live.
You see the live, right?
If we get time.
I was being lazy, so I didn't put the links.
All right, I'm going to fix that. Don't worry. I'm cropping. Where is that? Cropping Y. No, that way. There you go. Fixed. Fixed already. Nice. Okay. Speaking of, not even speaking of news. By the way, what did the chatties say the favourite meme was? The candle. Wow, it was all over the shop.
Finally.
Wow. Probably. I'm going to say it was probably the vinyl, just by a nose, Pipped it over the post, hey? Photo finish. We'll probably just go with the vinyl for the week. Right. Speaking of vinyl, this has got nothing to do with it. Yes, Behringer are back in the news, and this time with another clone to make Moog very happy. It is the Spice, which is, if you're wondering, a prototype that they've released a photo of, and this is the said photo from Facebook, for beta testing. The Spice.
Actually, it's someone who sent this in. He made the artwork for it, and he sent it in. So it's only a suggestion for Behringer. It's not official a product they are working on.
Right.
Really?
Well, really? I've been told that it's going to be the trio. We
can hope for it.
So let's have a look. I've got a couple of shots here. So here it is, photographed in front of what it got its ideas from. The Subharmonicon is probably what this is pretty much a clone of, if you're wondering. It does have very, very similar features in a set of controls and connections to that Moog product. If you're wondering what that is, it is two VCOs with sub 1 and sub 2 frequencies with a shape switch, a VCF low-pass filter with frequency and resonant controls, two envelope generators with VCA and VCF. The sub-frequencies work with the principle of what they call... Now, I've got this pronounced wrong, if you guys tell me, or right. Is it trautonium? It's the principle
Trautonium.
of trautonium, okay. And gives an overall undertone. So that's why it's kind of subharmonicon, right? It's an undertone. The frequencies are determined by mathematically from the two VCOs with a quantization. That's kind of how it works. And that's why you're seeing those controls with the levels and things like that. There's also a sequencer in there, which has two inbuilt sequencer lanes containing 4-step controls and 4 rhythm controls, but which, by the way, is kind of similar in the Moog product. There's also a 32 connection CV matrix at the top, which is pretty handy. Many features that are similar to the other models, and USB and MIDI. Now, if you look at this is the trio. So there's the two that are in existence now. You've got the Crave in production and the Edge, which has only just started to be released to shops now, and the new one behind. So there's going to be your trio. Now, they're saying $249 US. Thoughts, comments, love, hate, anything? Who wants to go first?
I just think
Ian does.
it's let's go for it. I mean, I'm no Behringer fan, but I have got some Behringer stuff, and it's back to that age-old thing of why they shouldn't be making products or cloning products that are current models, really. Now I've just looked up the price of a subharmonicon. I can't even say it. Subharmonicon, and they're 618 quid. This is going to be 200-ish UK. So it's a third of the price.
Be 180 UK, I reckon.
Right. So it's just below a third of the price. I just think it's wrong, and I know that Moog are not going to sue them probably on it, because it's probably different enough to to cover patents and all that sort of stuff. But it's just bad practice. It's bad business, really.
Yeah, but it makes everybody talk about both Behringer and the original product. It's an advert for both companies. People who
would you get one?
People
Henrik?
who think it's wrong, yes, and they will buy the expensive ones. There are people who will never be able to buy the expensive ones. They will buy the cheap ones and always dream of the expensive ones. So I think it will promote the expensive ones too. I'm of course, seeing your own work being copied, it feels wrong. But in this case, where it cost that much, which is not really necessary, it could be sold much cheaper from Moog's side, but they don't. Then I don't see it as that wrong. But a little bit wrong, yes. But it helps beginners to dream of something bigger.
Yep. I definitely think that's the caper for sure.
Because just to reiterate what he just said is one little nuance is that yes, it's a third of the price, but it's also probably less than a third of the quality.
Yeah.
So
that's
you can afford more.
I'm not sure. I have no Behringer stuff which doesn't work.
Yeah, I'll get into it. The thing is, I can afford the Moog, so I'll buy the Behringer. For X reason, the Behringer dies in a gig or dies out of sudden death, like many other Behringer products, in a year. What do? I buy another Behringer for the same price, or I put my eggs on the basket of the device I've already tried and love and know how to handle, with a quality that is gonna last a lifetime. Then I go and buy the Moog.
Yeah.
Moog, sorry. See my point?
Moog.
It's
Moog.
copying.
Mug.
Isn't it right that America does not allow for copywriting circuits? Because that's what I've heard lately. Like, you cannot copyright a circuit in America.
Yeah, I don't really know about that, but let's talk about one thing about. I think price is a very personal thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you could be driving around a Lamborghini and you're probably thinking, buy 50 of those Moogs. It's just chump change. And there's people like me who are like, I can't afford it. And it's not that I disrespect Moog because I can't afford it. It's because I've got Moogs here. I love their stuff, and I probably would if money wasn't an object. But I think what Henrik's saying is correct. There's going to be a body of people that will go, I'm going to get the Moog because I'm loyal to the brand. I like what they do. I'm a buy-in, it's club mentality, village mentality. And there's going to be people that will go, I can't afford that, so I'm going to buy the Behringer because I want the sound. Yeah, how do we know it's going to sound the same, though?
No, that's true.
Well, because everything they did so far is really, really, really close.
It actually doesn't matter.
Well, the filters are different too. It's not the same. Yeah, it's the CM filter in the Behringer one.
Yep.
But Eddie's right about the price issue and the quality, because if you compare the Mother 32 clone, the Crave, it's really chintzy. I mean, the little clicky buttons for the keyboard. I have some good Behringer stuff. I have some crap Behringer stuff, and I use their stuff. So I'm not a hater, but other than the fact that they are stealing stuff and putting their name on it. They do make cheap stuff. I mean, you can't create like that. TD3 is really, really cheaply built.
It
but
is.
you know, people love it. They use it. It works as long as you don't throw it around and beat it up. I guess it works pretty well. I
wouldn't gig with it because it wouldn't survive.
No,
exactly.
And just ask Kent Spong. I mean, he's the one who's actually looked into some of those, and he says that they are as poorly built internally as you would imagine. They're cheap. You can't just, you know, unless you're selling, you know, millions and millions of them. You cannot avoid cutting corners somewhere on components, build quality, all that stuff.
Plus, so they don't kill their own.
And the subharmonicon is beautiful on its own too. I love the look. You know, it's that classic old style Moog look as well. Even though it's a modern box, it looks cool. So I don't know.
Yeah. And as I said, what I was trying to do, it's not. Behringer already has the policy that we need to make it not lasting, so people buy 3 of them. That's why we put them a third of the price. So they're already
it's like cars now. They don't last that long.
I'm not so sure that's Eddie. I'm not so sure that's you could say that's a policy, really. I don't think any company would go out. You know, I missed that.
I keep using Behringer. I keep buying Behringer. They don't really last. When you go for the big brands, they're designed to last at least as long as the guarantee or longer. Even when they don't really. I mean, you could argue that some of the synths they did on the 70s were never designed to last 50 years, but there they are.
But you can't say that about a product which has only been on the market for a few years.
Sure. Obviously, time will tell. Obviously,
and it's so cheap that you can buy 2 of them. So of course, it's built on single boards and like that. So it's the whole board which needs to be replaced if something goes wrong. It's different in more expensive equipment. But having more boards does also make it more easy to fault, to make faults. So I think the build quality is fine on these devices. Fine for the price.
I've only got 2. I've got a TD3, which the build quality is poor, but it lives over there and gets switched on occasionally. It would never gig. And I recently bought the Model D, and actually the build quality on the Model D is much better. Now, I've always wanted a Model D, but I definitely can't afford a Moog one. You know,
who can?
But one funny thing about it is how many people do have Behringer devices, but when going out and gigging, do they bring them on stage or do they bring something else on stage?
I have seen tons of
many people
deep
who have a secret
stage
about it.
I have seen tons of people bring deep minds on stage. So
yeah, deep minds, but that's accepted. But a crave, and the copies in modular, will people show that on stage?
I've never had a problem with their modular. Their modular gear is just as well built as other modular gear.
Yeah, but again, it's copies. I'm talking about
but you can't buy
people
Roland
who don't like copies with
System 100M eurorack modules. So that's not really a copy.
No.
Yeah.
I think the big
eurorack is full of copies. Eurorack, look at all the mutable instrument cloning people out there that were making clones of mutable instruments stuff. Like, so there was Calsynth, which I really dig Calsynth. He's a cool guy. Nothing wrong with him. He was cloning mutable instrument stuff when mutable instruments were still active. Then as soon as Behringer bring out brains and all these other things, everyone's jumping on them and saying like, "Oh, you're cloning again. Look at that. You're copying. Why can't you come up with your own crap?" What? So what? They can't. They do what everyone else is doing. I don't mind them doing stuff that helps society out there, but like the guys say, if it's treading on someone's toes, like this product here, the Swing, which I've kept just because it really peeves people off, right?
That's definitely out of order.
That is a real swing and a slap in the face. And these three things that we showed before, the crave, the swing, and the edge, if the swing does make it out. I mean, that is basically almost identical to what Moog have done. So, they're an active product that Moog are out there. I think, Darren, you're probably going to agree with me, aren't you, mate? That they need to come up with their own stuff, and that's where they'll get the love.
I'm not going to diss them on copying or anything like that, and whether it's cheaper. Well, when you think about it, cheaper. I mean, the Roland little era, like the S8, the S1 and things, they're about the similar price. So, I mean, it's only sort of that style. So, I mean, whether you gig with a Roland S1 or a TD3, I presume they're going to be pretty similar in quality. But yeah, just Behringer, just if you want to make clones, put that as a section on itself. Just make something original, like I know the DeepMind was supposed to be a clone of Junos and stuff, but it was way more than that. So why can't they just concentrate on making some really good original Behringer stuff, so people are copying Behringer, for instance?
Yeah, well, they've got the Proton. We've already talked about it as a product announcement, so we don't need to go on it again. But they've just announced that that's now in production.
Yeah, but
that's one of theirs.
Every time you make Behringer, you just see them pushing out a clone. Even if they do any original stuff, you very rarely, that never gets noticed because they make so many clones. It outdoes whatever product they do make on.
Behringer have been cloning for a long time. Like if you go back, how long has it been since they've been cloning Boss guitar pedals? It's a long time.
Oh God, yeah.
So when you think about it, it's not new for them. This is not a new caper.
We shouldn't
get butthurt about this, right? Really.
That's what I mean. I'm not going to get down the cloning route. They've obviously got a thing, and they're going to clone whatever they want to clone. So put that to one side. That's the cloning department. Now let's have an actual think out of the box original Behringer department, which comes out with stuff, that you want to sort of go, oh yeah, it's. So yeah, that's my thought. Just make some decent stuff original for them.
Yep.
So that I can go, hey, I want that Behringer, whatever it is. Not because it's a clone, because it's something new and we've not seen it before. Or it does something that different to someone else.
I agree on that.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, you had cheap Chinese Stratocasters for decades, right? So, I mean, there's people ripping off stuff all over the place. So,
I mean, yeah.
But I want to know when they released the Soul synth, the JP8000 clone.
Yeah.
Where's my Soul synth?
Yeah, you just want because of the sticky red thing.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
When I was a kid, I used to travel to Singapore. Right? If you want to know about cloning, that was like Clone City. Like you go there was Rolex watches, there was Gucci handbags, there was leather jackets, Nike shoes, right? Nike shoes, however you want to say it. That was Clone City, and you'd go home with copy everything, and you'd probably spend $100, and you've got 10 grand worth of gear. You know what I mean? So it's not uncommon for us to be, bombarded by this crap.
Girlfriend loves to clone LV bags. Doesn't mean it's Everyone loves to clone bags.
Doesn't mean it's right. Yeah, but we should know, like, based on that theory, 80s. I was a 70s kid, but 80s, going to Singapore when I was in my teens. You're going to go home with a Rolex copy watch. That thing's probably going to last 6 months before you chuck it in the bin, right? So it's not like, can we sort of draw the same boat of Behringer? I don't think so. I think if you buy a Crave or you buy, what's the other one called? The purple pinky one?
Edge.
If you buy that, it's going to last more than 6 months. I think it's got a 3-year warranty, doesn't it? A 2-year warranty or a 3-year warranty on it. So it's going to
You'll get a replacement if it goes in 6 months, isn't it? Will you?
Yeah. So I don't think that's too bad. I think you're going to get reasonable return on your investment in that sense. Like, I honestly think you guys should probably try and gig with them. Let's see. I want to encourage you guys out there. Let's see how these products last in the real world. Use them as they're supposed to be used. Even a TD3. Chuck it out there and gig with it.
talking about that, I have my 2600 copy by Behringer. Sorry, kill me now. I know that the on-off switch is gonna die on the 3rd gig. It's a fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would it
that
die?
bad?
Nah.
Because it's new. Nah. I barely turn it off, and it's already wiggling all over the place.
Oh, I'd be taking it back.
Like I've seen. Excuse me?
I'd be taking it back.
Sorry?
Take it back.
What do you mean?
If
where?
Everything's wiggling all over the place, there's something wrong with yours. Mine doesn't.
No, the on-off switch. Everything else is fine. It's the on-off switch, which is the whole.
Mine doesn't.
Good, but
take us back.
Is, for instance,
it's still under guarantee.
It's got a 3-year
still under guarantee, Eddie. Check it back.
Yeah, but
send it back. You're probably going to send it back.
Right in the case. No, okay.
I'll deal with it when it's Monday models. I got gear from Modal, from
Modal,
from Korg and many companies, which were Monday models. So I had to return them because there was something wrong. Behringer must do.
You call them Monday models? We call them Friday models.
We call them Friday.
Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Friday models.
Friday afternoon.
Because Friday's Poets' Day, Henry.
Yeah.
You know, have you heard of Poets' Day?
Okay.
Yeah. Have you not heard of Poets' Day? Poets' Day, Poets, poets, right? Piss off early tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah. I know. In factory. I know that. We do it.
Yeah, you guys do it. No, you're right.
Okay. We say Monday models because at Mondays people are still having
hangover
Sunday. They are still sleeping.
I get it. Yeah, no, it's a good
Rant,
point.
can you put the StreamYard back up for Dave Surchek?
I can.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, as I said, I don't trust that switch being like in every other device I have trying to turn off. For instance, I bought a VCR 2000 from Behringer, the multi-rotary knob thingy. The first thing I have to fix is that the on-off switch was inserted all the way to the chassis. I just have to open it up just to put back the plastic cap and realign it. But it's so much room around that thing, and it's just a plastic bit pushing a plastic lever that goes all the way inside the thing, and there is the actual switch, that if you push too fast or too hard, basically the one you touch gets misaligned with the gap.
Take it back.
No. First of all, they don't accept it. It's way out of guarantee, and because they don't sell them anymore for a long time. But I got it. That's what I got second hand.
And I kind of I've had other gear that had the rod on the switch that displaced. So I mean, it happens on other gear too. So
it's very common.
Is there another piece of kit you can get instead of the Behringer then?
Not the best.
They're the same make that one.
Pretty unique.
I've never seen any other thing.
You understand?
I tell you what. I tell you what, Eddie. I challenge you. Yeah. Write a message or an email to Yuli about your problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Tell him that you know me. No, I'm not kidding. Tell him that you know me. Tell him that you're hanging out with, us, and just say,
boys,
what can you do? What can you guys do to help me out? You never know, right? You just never know. Sometimes it's worth the ask. Okay, we got to get to the next one, by the way, which is now. Let's watch this first. Let's make sure we are loaded and ready to go. By the way, red goes faster. That's what I got told when I was a kid. If you buy a red car, it goes faster, right? Like this.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. That small orange.
It fades quicker though.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the real thing. I kind of like it. I kind of like red. I don't know. I'm warmer to it. Anyway, this is, if you're wondering if you've been sleeping under a rock, like probably I do, this is the latest release from Akai Professional in the MPC range. It is the MPC1 Plus. Everyone can read, by the way. It boasts a new red paint job, as I said. So basically, it actually does have some hardware upgraded inside. It's got a new processor, more memory, and more stuff inside software-wise. So it is basically the same as the MPC X. So it's got the 1.8 gigahertz quad-core ARM Cortex A17 processor, 16 gig of internal storage with 2 gig content preloaded, and they've added Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to this. And obviously, we're going to talk about the software improvements in the next topic, so we won't go into that too much. But what I want to talk about is, I think, and I haven't heard anything else come out, and maybe it's because I haven't actually checked my news feeds today, but if you're going to bring out hardware that's the same spec CPU as the flagship MPC, and this is the bottom range of the MPC standalones, right? So the MPC 1 is the bottom of the range, MPC 1 Plus, as I say. That must mean that there's got to be some new models coming out with the MPC X and MPC Live, surely. So we'll just talk about this. $699 US. I've actually even seen the MPC 1 Plus more cheaper than the MPC 1 on some websites. So it's interesting what's going on. So Akai are pushing this through, probably timely with the Push 3 announcement. What do you guys think?
It's a bargain. It's not my thing, but it's a bargain.
Absolutely.
You know, I think it's there's a lot for your money there.
Yeah, but Ian, like, I know it's not your thing, right? But here you've got a really, really sort of central piece for $699 US that you can run MIDI sampling. It does arranging. It's got clip launching pads. It's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. It connects as a audio interface to your machine, all this sort of stuff, right? Doesn't have a battery, this model, but this is like a powered model. Why wouldn't it be a thing for you? Just out of curiosity.
Why wouldn't it be a thing for me? The circuit is here because I haven't touched it for about a month, but actually I've just been playing with it, wondering when I was going to put it into my live set, actually, but probably not this time. I was never that sort of guy that wanted the groove box thing. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's quite a steep learning curve with this. Mm-hmm. So, you know, is it the thing that, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, you know, I'm the guy that bought an organelle, which is quite a steep learning curve every time you put a new patch in it. So, you know, and I'm happy to spend my time learning that, but I'm not happy to spend my time learning this, and I don't know why. I can't answer that. I can't really answer the question as to why it's not for me. It is. That's exactly it. It's a personal thing. Yeah. You know. Having said that, you know, ask me in a year's time, I may have one. You know, I may be persuaded. Actually, what I do need to do is, it'll probably be at Gearfest, and I will go and have a play with it.
Yeah.
You know.
The red is definitely a new caper for them. It's not the completely new caper for them.
I like the colour, because apparently the colour's been having a bit of a hate. I think the red looks great. I think it looks fab.
Well, it's like the ASRX Pro.
Shiny.
The red was very popular back then.
I like shiny red things.
Yes, Robbie's in the house, by the way, and so's David. Nice to have you guys. Let's bring you guys up quickly. I'm going to get
in the same room together.
I'm definitely going to get everyone's opinion on this, because I think this is going to be, the MPC world is definitely going to be sort of wiggling its elbows. You know, when you sit at the dinner table with the kids around and everyone's trying to sort of fight for the elbow space. This is what MPC are doing, because of Push, because of Native Instruments, because of anything else that's out there. What do you guys think? Who wants to go first? David? Do you want to have a crack?
Yeah.
Have a crack.
You know, it's interesting. I've never even really looked at the MPC, and I kind of agree with Ian. I think I define myself as not a groove box but I realized I don't like the grid. I don't like this 64, all the different, colors, and part of the grid is lit up, and I couldn't deal with that. I don't know why. But this one I love. I kind of looked at it. I think Rob actually mentioned this yesterday. I mean, the connectivity of it is great, right? It's got the CV, it's got MIDI, it's got Ableton Link, through Wi-Fi, which that's one of those things I expect about 80% of people to go, so what? But there's a few of us that were just, going, oh man, this is going to be great. I got my iPad now. And then Loopop demonstrated it perfectly. It's rock solid. It's brilliant. Same thing with modular, right? You can get the Circuit Happy. I think it's Circuit Happy. The link. And it's really great technology. Ironically, it's Ableton. I think we're benefiting from the Push 3. I think they're very nervous. I think they have come in with I think they've dropped the price a little bit to get people in, because they're going to have a battle with Ableton, and it's going to be MPC versus Ableton for that kind of box. Is kind of what I'm thinking. But I love this. I think I'm going to get it. I've been really close to pulling, getting it. So that's my thoughts. I like the Red too.
You made a good point about the connectivity, right? I know you probably can't see this, David, because you've got StreamYard full screen at the moment, right?
No, I can see it.
But you've got look at that connectivity. You've got CV and gate. You've got main outputs, main inputs. You've got MIDI DIN. You've got the two different USBs. You've got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and you've also got SD card storage on the front as well. And you can put these hard drives in these things. I don't know if the MPC one you can put a hard drive in. I think that's the one you can't put a hard drive in. So that would probably be the only negative part of that one. But MPC range, you can put a hard drive in. Now, I was going to go to...
You can probably do it via the USB host port.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good point. Right, let's also bring up the other StreamYard gentlemen. Robbie's there. Hendrik's there. Comments from you guys. Who wants to go first out of you guys? I'll bring you up. There you go, Robbie.
That's all I have.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Of my
MPC 500, world. Right? Is that a 500?
MPC. This is a prototype 500. Batteries. This was pre. Yeah. I've even got the RAM expansion in there.
Yeah.
And everything. And I worked on libraries with Hollow Sun and Akai for this and the MPC 1000 and the 5000, and so I had all of those at one point and got rid of all but this one because it's too damn cute. But I never gelled with the MPC paradigm. I just couldn't get it, and I would sit there and watch people do stuff with it and go, "Wow, that's incredible! I should be able to make some amazing stuff with this," and I could never do it. And so I sold everything else, or sent it back and kept this one because it was cute. But it was really sad when Akai Japan folded and was then bought out by Jack O'Donnell.
Music,
the Newmark Elise. Well, he bought Newmark, he bought Alesis, and he shoved them all under the In Music banner eventually. And they just turned into kind of, for a while, a cheap, nasty controller company. Some of the stuff was good, some of the stuff not so much. I mean, I've still got an MPK 49 in the garage, and it's built like a brick outhouse.
Yeah, I had one of them.
And it weighs a ton.
Yeah.
I've still got one too.
Yeah. It's solid. And my son's got the MPK 88 upstairs. And that's a cracking weighted controller.
Great controller.
But there was other stuff that they did, and they gave up on the MPCs, and in comes Native Instruments with Machina, takes over the market. They become the thing. And then, of course, Ableton and Push and all those kind of things come in, and I'm kind of getting into that whole world now with Ableton and grid controllers.
You are indeed.
Yeah, and I think I finally got it. What I am trying to say is, though, that the resurgence, when they brought back the standalone MPCs, not the, was it the Renaissance? There was a couple that
not those,
interacted with the computer. But when they brought the standalones back, I was thought, oh, thank God for that, because they were the kings of it, and they actually nailed it, and they keep on nailing it.
Love it.
And this one is just like, we were talking about it last night. I think UK price is going to be sort of 650, 680.
Yep. For
a machine with all of that capability, all of that connectivity. It can be your absolute only instrument you ever use, because you've got plugins, you've got sampling, or it could be the heart of your Eurorack system. Not that I'd know what anyone think, what those are like. But it could be. But it was also part of a regular MIDI system. So it's just like all the options in a box that seems to, from a company that seems to now be really looking after its user base with updates and add-ons, and praise Jeebus that they're back. And I celebrate them being there, because Akai, is a name that is synonymous with this kind of stuff, and they deserve to be there. So
I think they definitely earned it. And while you got there, Robbie, next to you probably can't see it because it's on the stream, is my old MPC 1000. There's a video of me upgrading the memory. If I
you had the black one. Yeah, I had the.
If I do
really
this,
old, it was I had the burgundy and blue one.
There you go. You can see it now. So that was what I used to have. And I sold it because I bought the MPC Live. There's no point in having two. Henrik, about yourself, mate. Do you want to have a comment about this?
I have the Force. I have no need to have more of those kind of machines. I have one issue with the name, and that's not only from Akai. It's all who names machines with which follows each other, but they name them with a name instead of a number. It's like movies. If you want to see X-Men, which one is the first? Which one is the second? You have to look it up. The same if you want to buy gear. If you see something used and you want to buy it, then or may think you need to buy it, you have to research it first to find out is this the one which came after the three others, or is this the first? Or I think it's a mess that they don't use numbers in their naming.
They kind of do. You've got Live and you've got Live 2, like Mark 2, Mark 3. They kind of do. It's not a complete slap in the face.
But a plus and an X. What's the next? A star.
I don't like the plus. Yeah, but Native Instruments did that, didn't they? Machine and Machine Plus. Yeah. So we're not synonymous
because they're essentially the same. They just added standalone. That's all.
Darren's holding something up.
Could have name too, but if it was called MPC 1 and then Live Plus.
Yeah. Wow. That's the MPK 49. Yay.
Yeah, and it weighs a damn ton.
Oh yeah. They've got. If you open that up, there's literally pieces of like chunks of steel or iron in there to keep it feeling heavy. They literally have chunks.
You put that on the desk, it ain't moving. Yeah, you put that on the desk, it ain't moving.
Just take them out.
The USB still plugged in.
You can actually take the bits of metal out. It'll actually make it lighter.
Well, it's better than sticky plastic where you can't lift it off the table.
When we announced the Push 3. I said this last week when we announced Push 3 that it's going to push all the other manufacturers, Akai, Native Instruments and everything, to start upping, and this is just the start of it, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming, like you said, you're going to get Force 2, like say, what was it, MPC, X. Live 3, or Plus, or X. Yeah. So it's just going to...
We showed those prototypes, remember? Earlier in the year or last year, we showed those prototype drawings. Yeah, absolutely. They definitely have something brewing, absolutely brewing away. Let's just have another quick look at it, because I still think it's pretty sexy looking.
It does look the dog's leathery.
I still think it should be. I still think it should do it in a different. You could get the choice of a black one or another colour, right? Because I don't mind the red.
The problem with black is all you see is dust all over it all the time, and it just really nerks me.
Okay.
But yeah, if that's a bit of subliminal advertising there with the red car. And, now, let's keep going forward because we have to talk about this because that's really part of the same announcement, right? But really, it's a separate announcement altogether. The reason why it is, and if you're wondering what I'm talking about, there's a software update that comes with the MPC line and also the Akai Force. And that gives you this new synthesizer if you buy it, that is, called the Jura, and it's inspired obviously by the Roland Juno synthesizer. And there's some good reason why I think Akai are doing this, because obviously they want to make money on the plugins and things like that. That's definitely where they're going with this. But I mean, this stuff. Stop. This stuff is actually pretty important, I think, because let's just get the video going for you guys. You can have a look. You can actually get this as a free trial. So you don't have to buy it. If you don't like it, you can say, no, don't like it. But that's cool. I like that. You can get it as a free trial. If you're wondering what it's got your standard VCO that your Juno would have. And it also has two new noise types with it. You've got a vintage and a modern. It's got the standard sort of VCF that you'd expect a Juno digital clone to have, and it sounds pretty good. From the demos that I've heard, it sounds pretty good. It's got saturation and drive with that VCF as well, which is an added bonus. Digital envelope generators for both, so there's two of them, so you can map those. By the way, the other thing that is really important about this too is if we go back to this graphic, all of these things are screenshots, right? And everything is Q-Link controlled. So if you're wondering what Q-Links are, they're the little knobs that you see around the Akai Force and the MPCs that are mappable, and they're also, you touch them and they show little pop-out screens and stuff. So that's actually pretty important. So things like envelopes, you've got ramp, all that sort of, there's heaps of options with them. With the LFO, what am I saying? Envelopes. Chorus has the standard two types, as you can see down the bottom there. Plus, there's the famous noise switch. I don't know why people keep bothering about this noise stuff, but anyway, there is the famous noise for the chorus as well. FX section also gives you delay, reverb, and EQ for further sound shaping. As I mentioned before, you can definitely put this on your MPC now, your Force, and it doesn't have to be with the MPC 1 Plus. So don't, people were saying, I have to buy an MPC. If you do buy an MPC 1 Plus, you get a credit that you can use to buy this or any of the other things that are currently available. This is not all of them, but this gives you a bit of a wet whistle here. You've got OPX4, which by the way is an awesome FM synth. It's 4-operator FM synth. It's pretty cool. It's not as good as Robbie's DX1, of course. You can also play with your organ, which is Robbie's probably telling me to do right now. But there you go. So there's a pretty decent amount of stuff that you can chuck into your little MPC while you're mucking around with all the cool stuff. And you can plug a little MIDI controller like Darren showed before. And then you got yourself some sexy, synthy stuff going on with your samples and drums and stuff.
Air makes nice stuff. I like their plugins. That's the only reason I kept my Force pretty much. So,
they do. We've shown a lot of the Air stuff in the past here as well. Yeah.
I have a question. It's a genuine question to people that own current model MPCs that can host these plugins.
Yeah.
Is it frustrating that the entire GUI isn't on screen at one time and you have to tab through it? Because for me, yes. I would think I would find that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just wonder. I just a genuine question. I just want to know, that for those that use these plugins on the Akai equipment, does it get a little bit annoying? Or?
MPC is very menu divey. I mean, my Machina Plus is as well, but I prefer that to the MPC. So,
bearing in mind, like I said before, you got the Q-Link mappings, right? Sure. So if you look at your MPC, let's grab that graphic back with the MPC one, which is a couple back, right? Go backwards. There we go. So you see those 4 black knobs. You've got more on the X, right? Those can be Q-Link mapped, and also the whole thing. You can, if you go into the back end settings, you can MIDI control stuff as well. So you can MIDI map things as well. So the whole thing is MIDI mappable. So if you've got a controller that's got like a Novation Impulse or something like that, that's got a whole bunch of sliders and knobs and things like that, you can MIDI map that stuff. You can use. That's one of the cool things about the MPC, and I believe the Force as well has now recently had that as an addition. So yes, it would be annoying to, like you say, Robbie, to menu dive. But if you're going to be doing this in that sort of more serious way, you could spend a bit of time setting this up and MIDI map it, and away you go. Darren, you show that controller again. Look at all the sliders and knobs that you could map to all the different.
Well, it's funny because like the Akai brought out Q-Links. I think it was the MPC 4000 and the Z4 and Z8 sampler. So we're talking sort of turn of the century stuff. I mean, even the 500 has a single Q-Link slider. Yeah, and we always like, why do we want those? They always seemed a little bit superfluous. Yeah. Now they're seeming to sort of come into their own. But I was just interested. It wasn't criticism. It was just I just wanted to know how easy it was to navigate through those kind of multiple tabs on the UI rather than just having because I think I saw a clip in your video where the plugin the VSTAU plugin is all on one screen.
Okay, no, that's definitely a good point.
Yeah, the Force has 8 of those knobs, and if you're a guy like Nick Trakakis who maps the crap out of them, they're very good for performance. You don't have to menu dive that much once you've gone through all that work, but you have to put in the work.
Yeah, put some effort in. And the good thing about the Force is they're across the top of the grid.
It's really nice, and you can just roll your hand on them. They're rubbery.
Yep.
So you can just roll your hand. You don't have to grab them all the time.
You got little OLED screens just above them that are sort of on a 45
scribble
degree.
strips on there. You can
and you can just touch them and it tells you what's they're set to. And then you've got this thing where you can go knobcon or something where it's like not the place in America, but like it's kind of like you can set what you want your knobs to do, the Q-Link knobs. So you can go from like what's on the screen to what's on the pads to what's being set up specially or something like that. It's pretty cool actually. It's good fun. You can muck around with that sort of stuff. It's good fun. Cool. So free if you buy an MPC 1 Plus. If you want to get the Dura. Let's go back to the graphic again. I'm going to have to scroll through all these pictures again. There it is. Free if you want to get the MPC 1 Plus, or it's 100 and... What did I say? No, it was $85 US, I think it is, if you want to buy it as like a one-off payment sort of thing. $130 Australian. You can get it now. So I'm probably going to try it. I'm going to try it out because I've got so many Juno clone software, Juno things. It's probably System 8 sitting up there. Probably the best sounding Juno emulation you could ever get. Other than actually having what Darren's got above his head. The real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're muted, by the way.
Muted, Darren. Take a drink.
Yeah. I said that's the best emulated thing, but other than that,
Yeah. Just one day, I'm just so worried that you're going to go back in your chair and go smash into that Juno.
That's why mine's way back there. I can't run into it. So.
Don't do it now. Just please. The cringe moment. All right, that is it for the news. I kind of thought we would definitely be biting into more of the standalone controller / sampler / all-in-one music center. Now, David, during the week we talked about your situation, right, where you were talking about the sample track, and and I thought this. I don't. You don't mind me picking on you a bit, because I thought this was a good, definitely good topic to bring up. You've got a dilemma, right? You're saying, well, I've got this sample track. Do I need an MPC? Like, would that help me, or would I end up sort of crossing over the features of both? And you kind of sort of in your mind, you're trying to sort of equate this, right? So, where's your thoughts been since we had a little minor chat about this in Discord?
Oh, I think I was talking to Chris had just about this. I hate to say it, I love the sample track's brilliant. It really is awesome, but it's a park bench instrument, in my opinion. Like, I tried to put it on the table where you can kind of see the Mini Freak right there, my little jam table, and it just looked tiny and my eyes aren't as great as they used to be. It just didn't work. It didn't work for me. I ended up taking it off and sitting on the floor with it, kind of playing with it, and the whole time I was going, this thing's really brilliant. That's really cool. Trying to figure it all out. Head. But it doesn't. To me, there's no way I would equate what the MPC would provide. Just the size of it, the big screen. So it didn't last long. I think I just feel some guilt. Well, not even just guilt. I want to use what I have. And I think the sample track's like the kind of thing you take with you if you go on a business trip or whatever. You know what I mean? Or go on
It's vacation. A holiday park bench type thing.
Or even really a long train journey or plane journey. Yeah, one of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, or just upstairs, you're hanging out on the sofa.
Yep.
Kind of trying to act like you're hanging out with the family, but you're really...
It's a hell of a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, it's really well designed. I actually really love it. I just can't find its place yet in the music making scheme of things. So no, I don't. So yeah, it didn't last long, but I guess after just a little bit of working with it, I've tried it a few times. That's where I got my Clio samples and stuff. So it is fun. Like, you can walk around the house and it's got
chord stuff. Yeah,
it's got a place in the studio if you don't have an iPad.
You can go smash things in your kitchen and just sample everything. Smash and pop.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna, be musical.
Get the wife to yell at you. Sample that, reverse it.
So, yeah, that was the dilemma. I think I don't think you can put them in the same league as far as in that. But last thing on the MPC, I think, and I'm really guilty of this. We get these things, they have all these features, and we kind of feel like we got to use all the features. This has got to be the center of the studio. This is, we put these massive expectations on these things come in, and maybe sometimes we kind of set them up for failure. So I look at it and go, wow, this is pretty cool. I could get some cool rhythms, sync it with everything, add on to the production, do some cool looping. Let's start there, and versus taking everything off the table and redesigning everything because the MPC showed up. So I think, that happens a lot, right? And so,
is there really anything though that does that? I think DAWs are also guilty of that too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's why I won't use them. It's just too disruptive. Sorry, Rob. We'll see how it works out for you.
It's all wrong.
That's kidding.
But I think it's an important little point to make, because that conversation that you had, even though as brief as it was, it kind of it brought home to me that it isn't just Akai MPC products versus Native Instruments versus Ableton Push versus a couple of others like the Deluge from Synthstrom and Electrons, and there's a lot more out there. There's a hell of a lot out there, and some of it really doesn't even come close to some of the others, so you're really kind of starting to get separation from a lot of them. But it really becomes a kind of important thing about your personality as a musician, what you gel with. Like you heard before Ian saying there's no way he'd probably get an MPC because it's just not what he gels with. And I think Brooksy was the same because he actually, I don't know if he's still got his MPC or not, but he never really sort of gelled.
I think he sold it.
Yeah, so I don't think he really gelled with it. He did like the instruments that were on it, but the other part of it, where the sequencing and the sampling and that part, he probably struggled with. Whereas I'm nerding out on that stuff all the time. I love it.
Isn't it a wonderful thing that there is all this choice and there is something for everyone. Yeah. Something that will gel with you.
I was going to say that.
You might have to work your way through. And you might have to, unfortunately, we're not like most of us. I think I speak for most people here. We're of a certain age where we remember being able to go into a music store, a bricks and mortar store, and all of the stuff was laid out, and you could spend a few minutes or hours figuring out which one it was that you really enjoyed using. Whereas nowadays, you buy it, you get it shipped over, and if you don't like it, you send it back. So it's kind of the same sort of thing, but in a different thing.
You look at people who can use it on YouTube and then realise that it's not for you when you get it.
Exactly, yeah. And I tried all the DAWs. I started off with something. My first DAW was Cubase, and then I moved to a PC, and then it was something that was a kind of a Cubase clone. So I felt very familiar with it, and then I went back to Cubase on the PC, but I got fed up with it. Tried everything, and found that the only one that stuck was Reason. That made sense to me. And it worked in the way that my brain worked. And so I stuck with that for a very long time. It's only recently that I've gone, in the last few years, to Logic. And now I'm dabbling in my toes in the water of Ableton. But it's, what you feel comfortable with. And there's no right and there's no wrong. MPC, sample track, Machina Plus, whatever suits you and gets what's in here into other people's ears is fine.
Yeah. Apparently,
Robert, I was saying, Robert, it's a journey. All right. Yeah. It's a journey to find out what works for your music creation. Because I went through. I started off on Cubase, VST when it first came out, Cubase. Then I went to Pro Tools, and I really couldn't get my head around that. It was more for live stuff at the time. Then when I got a Mac, I was on to Logic, and although I didn't mind Logic, I just found it just didn't, like you, Robert. It just didn't. You just didn't trigger with it. It just didn't seem to make it easy. And then eventually ended up on Ableton. And that was the one door that triggered me. And you sort of stay with that, whatever triggers you, and you just gel with it, like you say. You just sort of stick with that. And then you can move your path. And now I'm looking for live stuff, trying to get my brain to like the different ways of playing live. So, it's a journey for your creation. Because like you say, everyone has a different way of creating music, and like you said, there's that much out there now. We shouldn't really diss any of the stuff, because at some point someone's going to like what someone's making, even if it doesn't gel with you. So I think it's great these days. And even an iPad, you can just have an iPad now.
Well, exactly.
Just a quick one. Human Error puts a little 3-pounder up. Just a little thanks, he says. Just a little thanks back, mate. Let's leave that up there for a second while we go back to us all. Awesome of you to do that. Yeah, beautiful.
There's also a physical component to this that it's just as important. Obviously, if you're going to buy this thing, you're stuck with however it's built. You can't change the physical nature of it. But when you buy a certain key bed, you're like, oh, I like this key bed over that one. Even though you might love the features of a synth, you hate the feel of the key bed. It's either not weighted enough, or too much weight, or there's no aftertouch, or doesn't have poly aftertouch or MPE. And so, for example, if you go back to some of the older stuff, like this guy here, I love this unit, but the pads are kind of funky, and pad feel is a huge thing. So MPC pads people love them apparently most of the time, but as they've had different models over the years, the pads have changed. Some are more stiff, some basically like this one, the pads don't light up. So you have to keep an eye on what you're doing all the time. There's no feedback visually. No lights above it, no lights around it, no pass-through lights that's opaque. So this is a different experience. Not only is it laid out like a key bed, but it's also you don't know what's going on. Then Roland added the SP44 with the light-up pads. So if you're firing off loops, even though this has no velocity on the pads, except the new ones do, at least you knew where you were if you're firing off pads. Is feedback, visual feedback, and the pads were pretty decent. So it really comes down to you got to try a whole bunch of them, see what feels good. The Machina Plus are by far the best pads I've ever used. Period. If you're doing like proper finger drumming and rolls and really sensitive stuff, especially with Aftertouch, it's incredible. The MPC not so much, and the Force maybe a little bit better, I think, even though the pads are smaller.
Apparently the pads on the Push 3 are pretty amazing.
They are nice because they added the extra XY dimension for the MPE.
Yeah. But not just that, the actual mechanical part of it. Yeah.
Well, they basically use a similar one to the Machina Plus, I think, because they feel amazing.
If you go back to my old 1000 that I had, I remembered like this. This was what I first got right as a MPC, and if you look at probably the MPC 1 or the MPC Live, it's probably a similar sort of modern version of this. And there was so many people doing upgrades to these things. Like you could go to a place called MPC something or other, and MPC Stuff I think it was called, and you could literally go and buy better quality pads for it. They were a different silicon, they were a different tactile feel, or they depressed softer. These were quite hard. So I wouldn't be surprised if you give it a little bit of time. Some of the the newer MPC stuff. I've got the MPC Live, the original, not the Live 2, the original one without the speaker strip down the bottom. I wouldn't be surprised if people were selling upgraded. Probably even now, I don't even know. But the pads on that I actually like, because that's after a while, after using those pads, they will loosen up. Like if you guys remember the Push 1. When you first got the first Push, that was an Akai product. They were really, really quite tough, those pads on the Push 1. And then Ableton brought out the Push 2. They didn't use Akai that time. They used someone else to get the pads. And they were much more sort of forgiving. Some people didn't like it. Some people wanted the Push that sort of... Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you can't win. Some people want it tough. Some people want it soft. So just make it configurable.
There was a hack back in the day with MPCs. If you didn't want to invest in a whole new set of pads and MP stuff, there's a huge community of people doing that kind of thing. Yeah. But you could just get some insulating tape, and you could just cut yourself sort of 2 or 3 little squares of electrical insulating tape and put them under each pad, and it would just firm them up so that they would respond to lighter touches easier than having to give it all that. So there was loads of little hacks around at the time to improve it or change it. Not necessarily improve it, because they weren't awful. It was just some people like to have nuanced touches and some
more sensitive.
Yeah. So it was just like stick a few strips of insulating tape. It doesn't hurt anything, and it'll change the feel of the pads. But there's a big kind of hacking community.
That's a popular hack for the theory board. A lot of people are doing the aftermarket inserts and stuff.
Yeah. There you go. So if you find that you've gone to the shop, you've tried out an MPC, and you think, I'm not so sure about the pads, you never know. You might be able to upgrade them. Right, let's move, Eddie. Let's move on to this news topic, which I'm going to give you the floor for.
Good. Could I pass it through? Because there's somebody with us that knows way more about this than I do.
Oh, you can. I know who you're talking about. All right, let's put him on the top again.
Robbie, please, could you?
Again, why don't you? Okay.
So, synthesized. So if you are in the UK, or if you're not in the UK but can travel to the UK, Synthesized is a show that's organised by a guy called Tony Jewell, who is a volunteer at the Centre for Computing History in Cambridge. Now, the Centre for Computing History is exactly what it says. They've got an immense collection of computers, both domestic, home and business stuff. They've got, those huge, massive disk drives, that spin around and all sorts of things going on. But Jason, the guy that owns it, also supplies the film and TV industry with vintage gear. So if you watch a film or a TV show that's got retro computers in, it's probably Jason that supplied them. He's done Marvel films and all sorts of things. Anyway, so once a year they have a 2-day event called Synthesized, where it's a really small thing. And a bunch of people, including myself, show up with some gear, and we stand around, we nerd for 2 days, we play on each other's machines, we have a good laugh, and then we go home again. That's basically that, really. So the last few years I've been taking a Fairlight. This year I'm going to be taking DX stuff because it's 40 years of the DX7. There'll be lots of other people there with all sorts of things. I mean, in the past we've had my friend Barney came down from Liverpool with the Stock Aitken and Waterman PPG rig, which was astounding. We've had Colin Holgate of Greengate. Do you remember the Greengate sampler? There is a British sampler in the early 1980s, a 1U rack module that coupled with an Apple II. And Colin Holgate, who was one half of the team that developed it, actually donated a DS4 to the museum. And I've had Paul Schlusser, who came over from Australia. Didn't specifically come over for that, but he was the project manager for the Fairlight Series 3. So he was there 1 year. So it's you get some nice people, some really interesting people, and it's not one of those shows that you go to where you need to put in earplugs, because there's not a huge amount of gear, but you buy your ticket, you get to see all this, you can hang around it, play with it, you can go to the museum and mess around in the museum as well, and it's utterly enjoyable weekend in Cambridge, which of course is a lovely city. So there you go. Not bad. So, unprepared.
My turn. Sorry for that. Sorry to throw you under the bus. Because I brought this subject here because I'm taking part this year, in case you didn't know. I'm bringing some of my stuff. As I said, I'm going to be bringing the ARP, although if somebody brings a real ARP, I'm going to just chuck it under the carpet.
There is a guy that normally brings either a 2600 or something similar. Yeah,
that's why. So I just brought it because I think it's the ideal touchy synthesizer, the ideal interactive synthesizer, because it's what you see, what you get. It's just feeling about, and it could be a very nice introduction to synthesis on the really, really deep basics.
That's what they're originally designed for.
Exactly. That's why I thought about it. I'm also bringing most of my JV collection. The only piece I can't bring is because it's at Kent's. It's being revived, bringing back to life, so that one won't be. But I'm bringing all the rack units. I'll be bringing all the important SRJB unit, JB80 expansions. Nice. I might bring, but not really. Yeah, because the JB80s, at this moment, I'm only one expansion short from having them all. And the only one that I don't have is the only one that you can only get in Japan. Everything else, I have it.
Surely you could get it on eBay or something, though, right?
Yeah, 200 quid plus import tax. So not going to happen yet.
Okay.
I mean, I don't need spare. It's not like it's an Obtainium. I know they're there. They're available. That would be cool. So I also have the other type of expansions that the line brought in, the PCM ones, the PCMs, and the PN JBs, which basically they were RAM, one of the memory cards, just made it ROM with patches burnt from factory that you could not touch. So it's like a little bit like what they used to do with the DX7. So I got the DX7, but if I want brand new patches, I need to buy a cartridge from somebody else. Roland was providing that. There were 7 released. I'll bring them. I don't know if I'm thinking because they're very tiny things, and I don't know what's the ambient around. If it's convenient ambient, I'll make them available to everybody to try. If not, I'll just have to put them on the lock because I cannot afford to buy any of them again. I'm also for the king of the event, which is going to be the DX collection, just my little poor humble apportations, which is going to be my 11 right in front of you, and my 2 DX FBO1s working in tandem, which I think they're pretty straight. I just need to, there's a couple of things I like to do to see if I can manage, because I just find out some patches from third-party people, And if I manage to load them, I'll put those in the user ones. If not, just factory. And a little toy because good. And I'm bringing my GR55, so guitars are going to be available. The JBs I'm going to trigger through my Vortex, so guitar is going to be available. And since we have the whole band already, I'm bringing drums. I'm bringing my DD55. Sorry, right there. Not only because it's a fun thing that sounds good enough and has speakers inbuilt, so I don't need to be a third amplification system, but also it's a full general MIDI 16-part multi-timbral MIDI module inside. So with my Nectar keyboard, 2 people on that thing could make a little tune in one go. So I'm thinking about interaction and making actual music. Plus, I'm really, really looking for all those computer sequencer guy from the old times plug-in everywhere, because they're all basically MIDI modules, expander modules, and let's see how crazy of a tune can we build with all that, if it's possible. I've never been there, so I don't know what's actually the pace of the event, because it's only Saturday 1st and Sunday 2nd. It's 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. all day open. The tickets also grant you the access to the full computer museum. That's what Mr. Jewell told me to point out. And brain freeze. And
do you have the Vortex or the Vortex 2?
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah,
Vortex 2.
The wireless. Yeah, the Vortex 2, the wireless.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, both are wireless. No, what am I talking about? Yeah.
No, the first one is not wireless, and the second one's only wireless with that little dongle. It's not normal wireless.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have to bring a USB host for that, but I'll make it work. That's what I'm troubleshooting for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. So computerhistory.org.uk. Synthesized is the 1st of July, Saturday. Look, just we'll post some links on the blog article at the end of the show. For those who don't remember, whenever we do a show, every single episode goes up as a blog article. So you've got this one will come up eventually for the probably about 8 hours ago. 8 hours time when I wake up and get off my butt and finish this. So the links to all of that stuff that Eddie was talking about, all the other things that we have in the show will definitely be on here. Now, I have to keep moving because we have to wrap the show up in a sec, and we've got another segment to get through. Yep, go quick.
My plan if you agree and we can pull it out, it would be to make a little report live from the show on Saturday.
Okay. Saturday
you think
1st?
it's possible?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. 4 o'clock UK time is when my stream is on.
Yeah.
Not 4 o'clock. No, it's at 2 o'clock, isn't it, Darren? Sorry,
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
After lunch.
Awesome.
And we'll show some carpets.
Fantastic. All right, we'll organise it. All right, let's go to the next segment, which is this one, because we have to get through this stuff. This one is brought to us by Mr. Synth Addict. Starting with this one. What's unique about this? Pristine condition Access Virus TI2 Whiteout Edition.
The outrageous price is special.
Is that Canadian dollars though?
Still though, it shouldn't be that much.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that much. Yeah. And you can get literally a VST now that will do most of that hacked VST that we showed a few months back. That will do the
hardware's a lot of
stuff.
fun.
Yeah. Definitely. Right, what else we got? An American Legacy, the super rare legendary Ulberheim UB1 in mint condition for $7,995.
Yeah,
is it worth that?
They are pretty thin on
with stickers.
See the shipping, $300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it must be heavy.
Oh, the shipping's down the bottom. Right, I saw the PayPal credit thing. I was thinking that was the shipping. Yeah, it's down the bottom. Okay. They are pretty heavy, those things. You know what? Shipping has got nasty.
Yeah.
Tell me about
recently. Yeah.
thing is, I would pay that if that was going to get me a properly packed, protected and insured,
bubble wrapped the gazebo.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can't skimp on that.
Robbie, I have been selling a lot of gear, and I have bought so much bubble wrap. It's unbelievable. But I actually have ethics, and I actually bubble wrap the crap out of stuff. So, yeah.
And it's not cheap.
EMS Synthy AKS. We love these things. These are so cool. Ooh. But 28 grand US, by the way. These are US prices. And there's definitely not $300 shipping in that. You can get that anywhere in the world for way less than $300 because they're not that big, these things. So someone's taken a bit of P155 on the shipping there.
It's probably the insurance.
It could be, yeah. You could be right. That could be shipping with insurance. Yeah, good pickup. Yeah. Who wants one of these, though? Seriously, I would love one of these.
I don't know. Every time I look about that game, that table game about sinking afloat.
Yeah. Battleships.
Battleships, yeah.
The meme we did a few weeks ago.
Has the great smack and reverb too. You can whack it and.
Oh yeah, the spring. Yeah.
The spring in there.
Ooh. Yeah. Spring it on.
Wow.
Another Oberheim 2-voice TVS 1A. Yeah. 28 grand for 2-voice. I don't know. Don't think so.
Yeah, but once again, it's one of the most sought after even one voice in the community, isn't it?
See shipping on that one? Look at the shipping on that one.
Robert, you could have brought this back a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
From Italy.
This one's in Italy, yeah. Is that it? I think there might be one more. Oh yeah, there is one more. The Chamberlain M1 synth electronic keyboard sampler tape vintage. It is vintage. What the hell's that? Tell us about this, Andy.
Well, I mean, this is the one that started it all, right? Mellotron basically ripped these guys off. So,
yeah, that's right.
Why is it? Why is saying synthesizer?
The sampler there is a bit of a misnomer.
I don't think it is a synthesizer. I think that's just a person.
Yeah, it's a tape machine.
Yeah,
it's tape.
It's basically.
We know it is, but
a tape.
The description says synthesizer. So.
Basically, Harry Chamberlain invented it, and then the Mellotron guys went crazy. So
it wasn't the Mellotron guys, wasn't it? Was it Fremton who shipped one over and then badged it, and then the Mellotron guys were the innocent parties. Really, they bought what they thought was a legitimate
original.
Instrument. Yeah, and they did do a deal.
I heard a different story. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that could be what they said in court.
Well, yeah.
To the judge.
I know why the price is like that. It's because it's a coffin and Chamberlain is included.
It could definitely fit a human body in there. But they've been nice to you, Henrik. There's a little air vent there for you, so you can still breathe.
Yeah.
Okay, just a few thoughts. First, the story I heard is that the guy told nobody that he was bringing this device to UK, and the guys who ended up doing the Mellotron were just being asked if they would be able to manufacture this design. Like, I get this, I want to build it again and fix it. Could you do this for me? And they say, sure. And they thought, hey, but we can improve it. Second,
I think it's on Dave Spears' documentary.
I think it is too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw it. Yeah.
Second thing is, looking at the size of this, now I understand why how the guy managed to bring it on the plane or on the ship, because it's not that big. It's what? Ship. What's the picture? It was 2 octaves, and it feels like pretty. If you look at the connector size, because that looks like a 1/4-inch TS, it looks like a tabletop to me. It's not the Mellotron.
In the day, right? When you think about in the day, right? Though that was kind of the thing. You had the Yamaha organs, you had the Elkas, all the different types of that sort of thing. That was kind of the form factor that they were building, right? So
it's like a home system.
Yeah. So if you built something that looked like a DX7, You wouldn't be able to because it wouldn't fit the tapes in it. But do you know what I mean? Like if you built something back, if Chamberlain built something that looked like a DX7, everyone would be like, "What is this thing from Mars that you have brought us?" You know, it just would have looked.
It needs to
really
look like
weird.
furniture. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But was it the M1 that he brought up? Because that's the later one, isn't it? The M1. It was the one. The 400 was in 61.
Okay.
So it was probably one of the earlier models that he brought over rather than the M1.
Did one of them have a filter on it? I think the M1 had a filter on it. I remember Mark Doty talking about it once in one of his, he's had YouTube videos going for years. And he definitely talked about the Chamberlain in one of his videos.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe it was Dave that talked about it. I'm not sure. I've definitely watched both.
With all that in mind, that price doesn't seem that crazy. A is a piece of history. B is very delicate and antique.
Depends on how many there are.
There was only less than 100 made.
There you go.
Of that model.
See?
So that's why.
Yeah.
20 grand, I don't see it that crazy compared to other things that have been produced in bigger.
Wigoo thinks they've been sold on Reverb for half the price. At some point, at some point in history, everything seems to be like completely insanely inflated at the moment. Including the oil price. So, but that was it, wasn't it, Andy? In terms
I think
of
so. I think
that was the last one. Yeah. What was your favourite? We had the. Should we quickly go through? We'll just do a quick reverse. So we had the Chamberlain M1, the two-voice Oberheim, the EMS.
That's
Akai,
my favourite.
The Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And the Access Virus. Jeez. I reckon you'd have to be a bit of a numbskull if you bought an Access Virus for that sort of money. Seriously.
That's why I go for that's the outrageous one, and the one I would like to have is the two-voice.
Yeah. Now, just a quick shout out to X101 who was in the chat before. He did send me a scam to show, but I'm going to show it next week because
not next week.
Sorry, the week after. Yeah, because we haven't got the show next week. I'm going to show it the week after. The reason is I just didn't have time to get it loaded up into Andy got his to me just in time.
I barely got. I almost forgot. Oh shit.
Perfect. All right, wrapping up the show. I think that's probably it from us. Anyone want to add a quick comment before we go? Anyone want to plug anything?
How quick?
Oh, do you want to do that thing? Do you?
Once again, only if we have the time.
How long do you need? A minute?
3 minutes. Okay. I can do it really fast. I can do it very fast.
All right, go.
So if you show the picture, it's because every time I've been asked why am I interested in synthesizers, I keep pointing this film called Fame from 1980, and this guy Bruno Martelli that came to do his admission test with tons of synthesizers. When I saw this video, not really. It was based filmed in another one, but
2600.
Yeah. Basically, obviously, never before today, I knew actually the gear he was using. And when I saw that they were carrying a 2600, and my first ever choice for an analog synthesizer was a 2600, I went like, how spooky is that?
It's cool, isn't it? When you got that sort of, circle coming back. Yeah, it is really cool. Yeah.
Moving on. Thank you very much.
No, but what you've got to do now, Eddie, is you've got to actually get the sounds that they made out of yours.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that used to watch Fame and then wish that you could go into a music shop and then everybody would break out into song like it had been massively rehearsed?
Yes.
And I'd be sat down at Bruno's CS70M, I think, that you had in, was it High Fidelity or something?
Oh, yeah.
God, I so wanted that to happen.
It's like Ray Charles' music store in the Blues Brothers.
That's when you wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night, Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie's on the Yamaha.
And I did have a thing for Doris as well. Doris was kind of cute.
I only watched Fame to see Swarovski on synthesizers.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything else, the
That's
songs
why we
and
watched
everything was
nothing.
But that's not music.
That's why we watched. That's why we watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, just to look at the sampler. Maybe the Ferrari going off the back of the. That was pretty cool too, watching that.
No, that was heartbreaking.
That was heartbreaking.
So yeah, that's it. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, awesome. Great contribution. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Thank you everyone for being part of the show. So just a quick round through. Thank you, Darren. Darren's muted right now, but you can just wave, say hi, bye, or whatever.
I'm not. I'm all right.
You're not muted.
Thank you.
He's not. Yep. Thank you, Andy.
Not muted.
Thank you for your contribution with Price Watch.
Bye, everybody.
Ian, thank you, mate.
Thanks very much. Thanks, everybody.
Beautiful. And Eddie, thank you very much for your contribution today. And now we're going to go and try and do this StreamYard. This is going to be tricky. How am I going to do this? All right, we'll start with, because Robbie's already loaded up. Thank you, Robbie, for being part of the show. Beautiful.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right, and then if we move Henrik into the next square, I can then bring him up. I've got to find a way of doing this quicker. Thank you, Henrik.
Album Friday.
New album again. Wow, how is he doing it? How is he doing it? I think ChatGPT is what he's. I think he's just cheating. And David, thank you very much. Awesome to have you.
Yeah,
and the chatties. Awesome. Thank you very much, chatties. Love your work. Have a good week. Enjoy. Press record. All that sort of stuff. And don't forget, be nice to your mum. See ya.
Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.
Take care.